background to what they intend to do. So if we are saying in the history of development economics, X has been thought of as a key factor. In other words, we are drawing the reader not just to the history, but to the construct or component that this study is focused on, which is the X there. Right? Then if we say establishing the importance of the topic, time frame given, right? Like we say, recently, there's been renewed interest in, right? Let's take this one with this. One of the most important events of the 70s was, which connects you to what you intend to do. Since it was reported in 2009, X has been attracting considerable interest, which is the construct or the key focus of this particular study. Over the past century, there's been a dramatic increase in. Recently, researchers have shown an increased interest in, right? The last 2 decades have seen a growing trend towards, right? In light of recent events in X, it's becoming extremely difficult to ignore the existence of. So this is at least a way that we should be emphasizing the importance of the key variables of our study. Look at highlighting an important problem. X is a leading cause of. One of the main obstacles, right? One of the greatest challenges, a key issue is the safe disposal of. The main disadvantage of X is, right? It is now well established that X can this and that, right? So we are looking at various ways, right? There is increasing concern that some these are being disadvantaged. Right? Exposure. So basically, your discussion, when we read your first paragraph, it must not leave us wondering what you intend to do. So the main focus of your study must clearly come out. So as we evaluate, I hope we can have some group also to show us what they did. If we can have a group so that we can see probably paragraph 1 and then paragraph 2. We try to discuss so that you can see how important it is for you to carefully think on how to express yourself, pick the main focus of your study, and ensure that at the end of the first paragraph, the reader is not left wondering what you intend to do. Any volunteers to share their assignment so that we can use that as a discussion point. Otherwise, I want to thank Tafadwa for at least giving us some starting point in terms of our discussion. Or maybe because I was actually indicating we are not saying the sentences must be exactly what I was indicating to you. Remember, this is just a phrase bank. So I just wanted at least to try and hear your ability, focus of your study in the first paragraph. But let's just see what you did.
Yes, there's a hand there from Nyamandi wants to contribute.
Okay, so I stop sharing. Right. Okay, can you read the first paragraph and the second paragraph, and then we open it for discussion?
You can see my screen?
Yes.
So yeah, our topic is looking at the internal audit and fraud mitigation and elimination, mediation effects of internal audit and fraud mitigation, elimination in microfinance in Zimbabwe. So the first paragraph is on the microfinance sector has become an important driver of financial inclusion in Zimbabwe, providing access to financial services to previous unbanked population. However, the sector is not immune to fraud, which can have devastating effect on the financial stability of microfinance firms and their clients. To mitigate and eliminate fraud, microfinance firms in Zimbabwe need to establish effective internal control systems in which internal audit plays a critical role. The occurrence of fraud in microfinance business is one of the reasons for the practice of internal auditing. However, while these internal audits deal with the vice of fraud in microfinance, their effectiveness remains debatable. Fraud continues to exist in banking sector, including among microfinance businesses in Zimbabwe. This, therefore, is among the key motivations for the present study to understand the impact of internal auditing on fraud mitigation and elimination in the microfinance industry.
All right, let's have reactions from the floor. We are inviting your comments, ladies and gentlemen, on the first two paragraphs of Nyamandi's group. In light of what we have been discussing, what do you think of these first two paragraphs vis-a-vis the topic?
Yes, good evening, Doc.
Evening, go ahead.
Yes, it's Princess Makanda speaking. From what I perceive, the group managed to build a strong case relating to their research topic. The first paragraph holds much water as it
Sorry, it seems we have lost you. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, just want to comment on the first paragraph.
Yes.
I think it would have been much better if they highlighted their point with some statistics to show that surely Michael.
Okay, is raising a point that there was need for some statistics to justify their contention there in the first paragraph.
Doctor, good evening. Hilton Samro here.
Thank you.
Yes, I wanted to say something close to what my learned colleague just now was probably going to expand on. My contribution is not necessarily that they were supposed to put stats, but I was just wondering, and I'm subject to correction, that the points, there are 2 points that are being raised by the first sentence of each paragraph. But as a reader, myself, I still want maybe one more sentence to build that argument in the first sentence before the however parts. So to me, it seems as if the paragraphs are for the however, yet the first sentence of a paragraph should carry the main idea. So the main idea is not being expanded on, it's quickly argued against. I don't know if I make a point, and like I said, I could be wrong. I need your guidance. Thank you.
Right, that's interesting. You could actually refer to our the Tolman model and say the first sentence is a claim, and what we were expecting is to have the support of that particular statement as a claim before we go to counter arguments. I agree with you on that. Let's have some more contributions. I see a hand there. Yes, Marekera.
Good evening, Doc.
Good evening.
Thank you. I can see you can hear me properly. My contribution is that I think the objective is very clear. However, I am having a challenge in having statistics, and not just statistics, but also if there is any publications or something to support their assertion. And then I think the final sentence is okay. It gives the objective of the paper. Thank you.
Right. I think there's one very important point that Tendai is raising there. The first two paragraphs there have no citation whatsoever. So all these statements, they will pose serious problems when it comes to where is this information coming from? Is this, for example, if someone does not agree with their claim, what is the source of their claim? So we were supposed to have some literature in terms of citing relevant literature, which usually we recommend that it has to be recent. I think you still remember Dr. Famba emphasizing that when you are searching for literature, you want to also consider recency, so that even the statistics that we'll be talking about, you need to indicate, where did you get this literature? Where did you get these statistics? Who said that? So that at least that part which is well written can be seen. I would have liked to continue seeing that paragraph there. What has happened? They stopped sharing.
All right.
Right. So we also had an issue on this second part here. You are seeing where I'm putting my cursor, where there is a however there. I think that there was a very valid point that the first part, the microfinance sector has become an important driver of financial inclusion in Zimbabwe. We need to support that, providing access to financial services to previously unbanked population, right? What are the statistics, and what is the source of that? Right? And then now, after you have done so, you then say, however, the sector is not immune to fraud, which can have devastating effects on the financial stability of microfinance firms. Do we have some more citation to support that there can be some devastating effects on the financial stability of microfinance firms and their clients, right? The last part, where you are saying to mitigate and eliminate fraud, microfinance firms in Zimbabwe need to establish effective internal control systems in which internal audit plays a critical role. I see the essence there is to connect the the whole discussion with your
My Durur,
and that
my
is.
when you initiate.
Hello, please. Okay. Then the second paragraph, what are we now talking about? The occurrence of fraud in the microfinance business is one of the reasons for the practice of internal auditing. We want a source there. Right? However, whilst internal audits deal with the vice of fraud in microfinance, their effectiveness remains debatable. This part here needs a lot of support, because someone may not really agree. Fraud continues to exist in the banking sector. Who said that? Whose idea is it? Who supports that assertion? Include among microfinance businesses in Zimbabwe. This, therefore, is among the key motivators for the present study. The last parts, usually, I think they were doing it very well. The only problem is that this write-up seems to have been done by people who did not have any literature, any relevant literature regarding the topic, because they are not citing anyone. Any other? Yes, I see Shiriko Z. Yes, let's have your comment.
Yes, Doc. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, well, I make reference to the first paragraph there, especially the first sentence where those claims were made. If he had already given citation to those claims and those are statements, is there any need to again give reference to the first sentence in the second paragraph? You know, the occurrence of fraud in the microfinance business is one of the reasons for the practice of internal auditing, right? I'm saying if already he had said the microfinance sector has become an important driver and has already made some reference there and reference to the second sentence, will it be necessary again to make reference to the first line of the second paragraph?
What is the difference there? I thought now the first statement was referring to the research domain. And then
sorry, baby, sorry.
Then the first sentence in the second paragraph is they are trying to zero on their particular thrust, which is on internal audit and fraud. Yes, let's talk.
Yes, because I was just thinking that statement falls from what they would have said in the first paragraph. But then that's fine. If there is still need also to make reference to the first sentence there, that's fine.
Yes, you see what I'm reading from their development is that where they talk of microfinance sector, this is a bit of a broad statement focusing on the sector. But now within the sector, they pick internal auditing and fraud mitigation. So that is what they are now doing. They are getting closer to their specific constructs. And that means now we want some literature relating to fraud and internal audit, which may not necessarily be the same with the microfinance sector being an important driver of financial inclusion. Because as that statement stands, it doesn't shout on fraud and internal audit, but the sector as a whole and its impact on financial inclusion in Zimbabwe.
Okay, thank you.
So, yes, so the whole thing is you have to read. You must be very much familiar with your area of study, so that you know when you're writing claims and you actually show that this is coming from this particular source, you also make it beyond any debate that this is what has already been established in extant literature. Remember, we are saying where we are coming from, we said, when you are doing research, you stand on the shoulders of the giants. So the major weakness of these two paragraphs here is that they are appearing as if they are basically, they are starting a new thing, which has never been done anyway, because they do not cite anyone.
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Yeah, just maybe to buttress your argument. Basically, what is happening in these paragraphs is that if you check the flow, these they are actually developing these flows in a very good manner, and you will see that there are actual variations that exist, and these variations can actually be taken from different authors. So we cannot really argue to say that maybe if they quote person A in sentence number 1, then it's automatic that it's person A who is also saying it in line number 2. So what you really need to do is to ensure that you give reference to the particular individual who is or particular authors, group of authors who should be accredited who should be credited with that piece of work. So I think yes, you might need to repeat citing, but it will not be quite robust to keep citing the same person in the same paragraph. This is the beauty of reading. If you have read widely, means that you can utilize author number 1 in line number 2, author number 2 in line number 3, so that you give us the variety. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, that's very true. Thank you. Thank you very much, Doc. I think we have learned something from these paragraphs. You can stop sharing so that probably you can emphasize some issues and then move on. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your assignments. And I hope others are also picking very important issues that are arising from those introductions. And what that means is I just want us to, let me just refer you to some article that we've written so that probably people can quickly see what we're talking about. I want to share screen here just briefly. Just want to emphasize this point here. Okay, are you seeing my screen?
Yes,
Yes, we can see it.
Okay,
Yes, we can
let
see
me
it.
show you that I shared this article with you, but I just want to emphasize some things here. The title, here's the title: Personality Traits, Money Attitudes, and Consumer Decision-Making Styles as Predictors of Products Choice in South Africa. Let's just see.
Doc, the screen sharing is still loading.
Oh, it's not yet there.
It's not yet here. Yes, now we have.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. So let me start again. The topic, are you seeing the screen?
Yes.
Right. So
yes.
Look at the topic: personality traits, money attitudes, and consumer decision-making styles as predictors of investment products choice in South Africa. That was our topic. But I just want you to look at the introduction. Traditionally, less attention has been devoted to studying consumer behavior. Please take note of that. And our first sentence there you can pick some weaknesses. Remember, we don't have anything that is flawless, right? But the emphasis here is we are trying to do just like what these guys on internal audit microfinance were trying to do. But the difference with what we are doing is we quickly pick a citation. Traditionally, less attention has been devoted to studying consumer behavior regarding financial services. So we are indicating why this study is important. Already we want to hook the reader. However, the introduction of new technology, deregulation, and digitalization has made the market highly competitive, influencing consumers' feelings and thoughts about making financial product purchase decisions. There is a citation concerning digitalization. The client's decision-making procedure is a constant and collaborative activity requiring companies to adopt a more all-inclusive attitude and focus on impacting the procedure instead of totally focusing on the client's decision. What is important here is, at least for your argument, where you are trying to hook the reader, you also want to strengthen that by referring to a citation. Right, so let me stop sharing here. I just wanted us to see why we were emphasizing that even on the introductory paragraph, let's not waste time. We need to hook the reader to the seriousness or the importance of your study. And you cannot just make claims that are not supported by citations. And I think Dr. Farmer picked a very important point where you say, if you're widely read, then now you are going to be making citations from different authors. And that cohesion, the fact that the authors would actually be different authors, but supporting the arguments that you are presenting, it actually strengthens your position. So that previous write-up, the authors have got very good points to support their study, but they did not read. So if they read and infuse those issues there, you will find that we will enjoy reading the article, because it will be very much supported. So let me now move to some issues on literature. Let me go back to.
Hello, Doc.
Hello.
Maybe you can just wait, because we're only left with 2 minutes. So you start on a fresh. Yeah. You just start on a fresh.
It's okay. Time is moving so fast.